Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Spilling the Tea Leaf on a Tarot Deck. My name is Debbie, and I am the owner of Spill the Tea Leaf Readings and More, where I do tea leaf and tarot readings. You can find me at spillthetealeaf.com or email me at info@spillthetealeaf.com. And I am here to look at the Ghostbusters tarot deck. I should apologize. It is snowing outside, so I don't have as much light as usual. So this video is going to be a little bit shadowy. So I do apologize for that. And having said that, let's dive right in. Here is the box for the Ghostbusters tarot deck. It's one of the, we have these for all of the pop culture boxes here, pop culture decks. Here you can see that it's written by Amy Chase and that Ben Turner is the illustrator. So it's a nice collector's box. Here's the back. It has an ectoplasm looking like ribbon to help you pull things out of the box. It's a good box. I don't recommend carrying it around in your purse, but for just keeping the deck safe at home, it's a good one. You can see there's guidebook. We'll dive into that after we look at the cards. And as usual, we're going to start with the major arcana cards. Now, these cards, if you're a fan of the movie, just so you know, this also is Ghostbusters 2, which I did rewatch at Halloween, in part because I knew I wouldn't remember it well enough to understand these cards. So, here we are. I think it's funny that they're all green for some reason. Like, I know it's ectoplasm, but it's still an interesting choice. I find this to be hilarious. I used to love Ghostbusters 2 so much more than Ghostbusters. I don't know why, but I don't know. That guy freaked me out back in the day, for sure. If you're a fan of the movies, all of this makes sense. I don't feel like I need to really say anything about it. It's kind of obvious. They did a really good job with this deck. Also, for people who, are fans of the Ghostbusters cartoon, anything with Slimer is just that much better. I don't know. This guy, I wish I remember the actor's name, but he was one of the watchers on Buffy. And it wasn't until I went back and watched the movie recently that I realized he had been in Ghostbusters 2, and I had known him long before Buffy. But he was the head watcher. Anyways, of the Watchers Council. Just so now he's immortalized in not my Buffy deck, but my Ghostbusters deck, which is amusing. I was not scared much as a child, but I had nightmares about this guy. I don't know why. I would watch Snow White over and over, and that forest scene was scary, but never got me. But this guy, I don't know. Puft Marshmallow Man just gave me nightmares. So weird. I was such a weird child, which is fine. We're all a little weird. It's what makes us awesome, I suppose. The EPA guy. And again, Ghostbusters 2, right? So interesting that a baby is the world. So those are those. Now, they did change all of the suit names. So King of Streams would be King of Swords. And I kept these in the order that they were in the box. So that's why we're doing court cards first. It's fun to see all the different ghosts that they pulled out of the movies and put in here. One thing that's fun about this artwork is it feels like a lot of these decks that I've seen lately are very cartoonish, and this feels more like a photo, except that they just changed the color, right? So all the human faces are green, but it's not a cartoon version. It looks more like a photo of these characters, which I like. Looking at, for example, the Clueless deck, it's a cute deck, but the fact that they're all cartoons is kind of weird. So I like that, these look like the actors because they're not cartoon versions of the actors. So marshmallows are pentacles. This actress, it's really bothering me. She's been in a bunch of other movies that I saw when I was a kid. And I wish I could remember what they were. You'll probably see it and be like, oh, she was in this and this and this. I feel like she's probably like a horror movie person. But I feel like I saw her in non-horror movie things. Anyways. I mean, that's just the cutest. Next up are traps, which are cups. I don't really have much to say about this. The traps feel a little bit more Pip decky than the others we've seen so far, which is a little disappointing. Not as disappointing as the Supernatural deck, which switches back and forth between Pip and non-Pip, but certainly, you know, it's too bad they couldn't have saved like ghosts going into the traps more for that one. But anyways, here are King of Wands. And wands are wands, but they're the, you know, this wand. I forget what it's called, but very specifically. So it's not like your regular wand. It's the Neutra wand. That's not right. Someone's going to correct me and be very mad that I can't think of the name off the top of my head. And I am sorry. It's definitely in the guidebook, so we'll get there in a minute. So it seems as though this suit hasn't changed because it has the same name, but like it still is referring to something specific in Ghostbusters that just happens to also be called a wand. But it certainly makes it easy to remember, you know, if you get confused. Traps, you know, hold something. So it's cups, marshmallows, or food, earth, pentacles, right? So that just leaves streams. It has to be swords. And is also a weapon like a sword. Okay, so here's the guidebook. Nice and thick. Table of contents. So you can see you're going to get information on all the cards, which, you know, they usually do a good job of with these pop culture decks. The Insight Editions, I think, who does these. So understanding your deck, this is going to tell us about the suits. I think it's on the next page. And of course the wands are on the first page. There we go. The suit of wands is represented by the Neutrona wand. See? Knew it started with an N. Anyways. All right. So major arcana, we get, you know, the full page picture of the card, and then we have a little explanation in the meanings. So we have that for all of these major arcanas. And then we get to minor arcanas. And we get one page for each card. We still get a color illustration of the card, which I always appreciate. And there's like a little, you know, it tells you who these people are. Or, you know, for the court cards at least gives you a little extra. I'll go back to, so like here, you can see that again. So if you're not sure who these people are, it tells you. Yeah, so those are the cards. I'm going to flip to the next section here, which is tarot readings. And of course, there's a page on caring for your deck. So if you're a beginner, you know, you can learn all the basics. Preparing to read tarot is the next page. And then we have a few spreads. We have Tobin's Spirit Guide, the Containment Unit, and Crossing the Streams, which just to me means that the author did not disappoint, because everyone is going to want a tarot spread called Crossing the Streams with this deck, don't you think? So this tells you about Amy Chase and Ben Turner. And yes, Insight Editions is what puts this deck out. Who puts this deck out? So that is the Ghostbusters tarot deck. The cards themselves, very similar to a lot of these other cards where they're a little sticky. Not to say they can't be shuffled, but when you're flipping through them, like they're so thick that sometimes you're not sure if you have one card or two cards. So in terms of shuffling, it's going to be not difficult, but not easy either. Definitely usable, but will get easier to use with time in terms of shuffling. If you're a fan of both movies, this deck's going to be really easy for you to read. If you haven't seen Ghostbusters 2, you're going to need to see it to use this deck. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I think they did a really good job capturing Ghostbusters with this deck. I'm not in Halloween mode anymore, so I personally am not in Ghostbusters mode at the moment, so this is not the right time of year for me showing you this deck. I apologize. Which is why maybe wasn't as vocal about the characters as I would be with other decks. But I'm happy with this deck. I'm excited to use it. I think they did a really good job with it. I think Insight is getting better and better with these decks, and I can't wait to see what they put out next. So if you want a reading with this deck or another, let me know. Reach out at info@spillthetealeaf.com, or of course, you can just go to my website and see other videos that I've done as well on these and other things. And I'm just really thankful that you tuned in today. So thanks so much and have a great day, everyone. Bye.